Hello, and may the 4th be with everybody out there in listener land. Welcome to the 12th episode of Phillies Unfiltered, along with Brent Tracy. I'm Jim Russo. Brent, how are we doing today?
Well, this week I'm not dying from illness, so that's good.
That's a positive.
It is, and I'm feeling better about the Phillies. I still don't feel great about them, and we'll get into it, but I feel better than I did this time last week about the team.
It was a week. It was a successful week, 4-2. You know, we'll take that. Win every series. You know, take 2 out of every 3. That's a successful week. That's a successful season if you do that. You know, there's some standout bad. There's some obviously some standout good too within the week that we had. Let's hope it continues, like the good stuff, and coming up with this week, starting with the Rays. But before we get started with the topics of the weekly recap and so forth, Brent, can you tell me a prospect that the Phillies had that you were excited for that just didn't pan out, and one that you were excited for in particular, and one that did not, or one that did and one that did not?
Okay. I think the obvious one, and I'm probably going to take yours on this, is Dominic Brown.
Okay.
I mean, I was really excited for him, as was pretty much all of Philadelphia, and he just didn't hit. I mean, he just didn't, literally. He could not translate his game at the major league level. I really thought he was going to be the next Ryan Howard in terms of his power production, and he had a decent start, but he faded fast and did not recover. So that was disappointing. I think that would probably rank up there among the top disappointments in Philadelphia prospect history.
Absolutely.
So for the disappointing one, that was mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you the, or do you want to give your disappointing one first?
So let me go with my disappointing one. It would have been Dominic Brown, now that you just mentioned him. I mean, I was so high on Dominic Brown. Like that 6-week span was amazing. Like this is what we should have had from Dominic Brown. Like it made him an all-star. He was so good during that right. time frame. He was that 5-tool guy. Like you expected everything out of. He could throw, he could hit, you know, he could run. Mm-hmm. He was going to be something special. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Apparently, he's a pretty solid guy though, so he's still like in the local community coaching and helping out, which is cool. Yep. But you know, I'm going to go with somebody else that's actually still in the league, and Mr. Mickey Moniak. You know, that was a number 1 pick. I was high on him too. I was a believer.
You were.
And then like his only home run as a Philly was he had a Oppo taco one day, and he was showing opposite field strength. This is awesome. I can't wait to see it consistently. And then nothing. He was having a great spring training, and then he got hurt, and then he just never came back from it. It was a shame. Yeah. Hey, good luck in Colorado. He not doing much, but it stinks that we never got anything out of him that we should have.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good choice.
Yeah. What about somebody you were excited about that did pan out?
So yeah, I was thinking about this actually earlier today. I was trying to nail down the one I was excited about because Dominic Brown came to me pretty quickly, but honestly, I think it's Shane Victorino. I know we didn't draft him originally. It was Rule 5, but I remember seeing him come up through our system, and I was really pumped for him to get up at the big league level, and he did not disappoint. He, in his entire career, I don't remember a stretch where I remember thinking, oh, man, he needs to be better. I mean, he was always, and I probably sound like a broken record because I've said it on this podcast before, he was so reliable out there. He had speed. He got to every ball. He had a strong arm, great hitter at the top of that lineup, base stealing threat. I mean, we got such a steal in getting him in the Rule 5. I mean, I was so excited when he was in AAA, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to be good. And I mean, I'm glad I was right about that because he was a huge part of those teams back in the day.
He was my wife's favorite player, the Flying Hawaiian. And he saved Lidge's perfect season.
Yes,
I'll never forget him throwing out whoever he threw out in that Atlanta game.
Home. Yeah, I remember.
Right at home. It was awesome. But the guy I was most excited about that did pan out was Mr. Cole Hamels. Like when we drafted him, I was super pumped. I wanted him with the big league team right away. And well, we eventually got him, and he was stellar. I mean, that changeup was something special, and he helped us win a World Series, and couldn't be more happy with what he gave. You know, he unfortunately in '09 he fizzled out. I guess he was burnt out from the previous season. I mean, just too much work. But he was a great Philly.
'08, he was 5-0 in the playoffs that year.
He was
that was
good.
such, and I forget what the ERA was, but it was
so
sick,
dominant.
whatever it was. I mean,
just nobody was hitting him. Like he had
Nope.
that changeup going. It was biting, and like he had the running fastball.
When he located the fast, he was locating the fastball. I mean, he was getting ahead with that, nibbling around the corners, and that changeup was a dagger. Nobody was able to touch it. You didn't know, even if you knew it was coming, you weren't touching it. It was like that Mariano Rivera cutter. It was like you know, even though you know it's coming, you're still not going to do anything with it.
Right, like a Roy Halladay sinker. You know, like it's just you're done. you know it's coming. And you can't hit it.
Yep.
That brings us to our weekly recap. So this past week, the Phils were 4-2. Took 2 from the Nats and 2 from the D-backs. Honestly, they could have gone 6-0. All of those games were winnable.
Yep.
And that brings us to our studs and duds during those games. Brent, who do we have for our stud of the week for you?
I got to go with Max Kepler.
Right.
I mean, he was just really squaring the ball up this week. I mean, he's been doing better of late, even the last couple of weeks, but this week he really turned it on to a new level. I mean, 3 homers in the past 7 days, 6 RBIs, batting .320. He's making some pretty good plays in the field too. Yeah. And like we talked about, the power's showing up now for him. I mean, those were not cheapy home runs. I mean, the one in Chicago, cutting through that wind to, as you pointed out, the deepest part of the ballpark in Wrigley. And then in Philly, the game I went to the opener of the Diamondbacks series. His home run was, I mean, to the right of us, but way back. I mean, it was, he got that one deep into the stands. And then the one he hit yesterday was not a cheapie either. I mean, he got a good swing on that. So he's really squaring it up right now, and I'm really happy with how he's swinging the bat.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. And I completely agree with Max Kepler as your stud of the week, and that's who I was going with. We mentioned it several times before. His swing should translate here, and it's starting to show, It's starting to show in the power numbers. This is it's good that he's showing some progress, and he's showing that power now. For dud.
I mean, my dud is going to be Bryce Harper.
Okay.
He had a good day today. We talked about it before we started recording. We started to talk about it. He had a better day. He had the homer in the first inning, opposite field, which was a good sign. And he had a couple of other, or at least one other hit, and had a walk, I want to say. So he was doing better today, but this is not the level that we need him at. We need him to get to that Bryce level where he's a threat every time he comes up, where he's a threat to drive the ball. Guys are afraid to pitch to him. We need him at that level for this team to be consistently successful. So,
Right.
It's a higher standard for Bryce, right? I mean, but I that's what you pay him for. He's the big guy. As he goes, the team goes. So for me, Bryce has got to be a little bit more consistent up there and locked in. His at-bats aren't great. He's chasing some pitches. He's gripping the bat a little too tight. I just want him to wait for his pitch and let the guys around him do damage if they're not going to give him pitches to hit, And even the ones that he is getting to hit, he's not timing them well. He's a little bit late on some fastballs, and even the hanging breaking balls, he's just not squaring up. So, I like what Topper did today, trying to give him the DH spot, maybe just focus on the hitting. It kind of seemed to work. I didn't love that last at-bat. The last two at-bats weren't good. But, it's early in the year still, and Bryce is going to show up. I'm just kind of complaining right now. I know he's going to give us solid numbers by the end of the year. So
he tries. Bryce tries to play hero ball a bit too much, and it gets over aggressive.
All right. Yeah. So who's your stud of the week?
My stud of the week is still Max Kepler, just like yours.
Can't argue with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned early on, first episode for sure, and a few episodes After that is his swing will translate here, and it's starting to show, and I love that it's showing with the power numbers a bit. And he is making good plays in the field, and that average is steadily climbing, which is great to see, but the power's coming with it, so that's a good sign for run production later this year. As far as dud goes, I was thinking about Bryce, but him having a bit of a better day today, kind of he got his way out of it. But I'm going to go with Kirkering for my dud of the week. Just walking too many guys. His control just isn't there. He needs a bit of a reset for me.
Yeah. He has not been on his game.
I mean, he's been getting himself into these situations, and I'm pretty sure he got himself into that situation where Lowe was able to hit that 3-run homer against us, that we somehow still won that game. But I mean, we should have never been at that point anyway.
That was a frustrating game to watch.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure I sent you something with some expletives in it with that play. And like, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. That can't happen in that moment. Well, I think that wraps us up for studs and duds. Let's move on to pros and cons. I mean, there was plenty of positives this week. The offense is coming to life a bit, and they were showing some fight today. So I'm going with the offense. For one of my pros, and obviously the starting pitching has been solid outside of today. But I'm happy with where the offense is starting to go. We're seeing some life from Kepler, and JT's been showing up a little bit, and Schwarber's been doing his thing. He's getting on base, and Stott tailed off a little bit, but he's still there. Turner's hitting the ball. He's getting on base. I'd like to see some more extra base stuff from him, but again, he's getting on base. What you have for pros here?
One of them would be the offense being more explosive this past week. Inconsistent still, but more explosive. They're showing a little bit more power. They've looked more dangerous. I will give them that.
Right.
But I also want to give an honorable mention to the bullpen, specifically Banks and Ross. They have been much better over the past week or two, the two of them specifically. And that's a good sign because somebody had to step up in that pen the way they were going for a while. You cannot just rely on Jose Alvarado at the back end and have everybody else just kind of be meh. I mean, it's really good to see Ross and Banks giving them some innings, and not just innings, but like quality innings. A lot of 1, 2, 3s, a lot of quick innings. I like seeing that, and I hope it continues.
And then Aaron Nola again had a great outing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had 2 straight solid outings.
And he got run support.
He got run support, and look what he can do with run support.
I know.
I'm willing to say he shouldn't have let up a run in Chicago. He should have 2 straight no runs allowed games. That's awesome. He's been showing the Aaron Nola that we've seen before. Hopefully this sticks as well. As far as cons go, it's still the bullpen as a whole. I mean, sure, there's some bright spots with Banks and Ross this week. Even Hernandez had a good outing.
I'm still annoyed with him.
I am not sold on him whatsoever.
Today was another example of why he's awful.
Today was icing on the cake for another segment that we're gonna have. But Kirkering wasn't showing me anything today, and at all this week. And then Jose was all over the place today. I mean, I could even give one of the cons to Topper and his bullpen choices today.
You and I were talking about that. I don't understand putting Jose out there for the second inning. I know that you had Banks unusable today because he'd pitched some innings, but I mean, Jose's historically does not do well when he goes multi-inning outings. I just don't. You just empty the tank, throw everybody you have. You have the day off tomorrow. Empty the tank with guys. Stop. That I was annoyed. That was and bringing in Hernandez after Jose just sealed the deal for. I mean, you were not winning that game at that point.
Like the choices weren't in the right order. I think it is almost like they gave up on the game, not realizing they're going to come back. Like I thought the game was over before Wilson hit that home run. I'm like, oh, they got a chance here because they're showing a little bit of fight. But it's he could have made better choices today, and I didn't like the idea of sitting Kepler today. I know you didn't either.
Hated it.
Hey, I thought it was a good move getting Bryce off of his feet and DHing. I was honestly thinking of a full day off, but he proved me wrong there with hitting his homer.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep an eye on Topper and those choices.
Yeah, I mean the Kepler. We talked about it. The Kepler thing. I get the matchups, and I think his other argument was, well, we're going to face 2 or 3 straight righties, coming up in Tampa. So we wanted to get Wilson some at bats, and okay, I get that. But you can get Wilson at bats when they bring a left-handed reliever in late in a game. That doesn't have to be a full start. But Kepler is swinging the best bat on the team right now. Ride the hot hand. I will say this till I die. Stop overthinking this stuff and going too deep into the matchups. Kepler's swinging a hot bat, including against lefties. One of his 3 home runs in the past week was against a lefty, and it was a mammoth home run. He didn't just scrape the wall with it. He got all of it. The guy's hitting the baseball. Let him go out there and swing the bat until he cools off,
Right.
So, yeah.
He looks good right now, but I think honorable mention for Cons would be Topper for me as well.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you?
No, I agree. That would be one, and then because I actually have that down. Topper maybe overthinking the matchups instead of riding the hot hand, which I just kind of said. And then the offense is still inconsistent. Yes, they've shown more explosiveness, which is a good sign. But there's still times where at the game I was at, it wasn't until the 6th or 7th inning when they finally woke up. The rest of the game, it was just they were muddling through, going through the motions, lazy at bats, not executing. And you got to play 9 innings. I think that's really what it comes down to for me. You got to play 9 innings. And too often they're just kind of showing up when they feel like it. And that's not going to cut it as you get further into the season and you start playing some really good teams. I mean, they beat the Cubs. They beat the Nats, who aren't that good of a team, and then they beat the Diamondbacks, who are a good team and who've had our number for the last few years. So I'll give them the credit. They've won series, but it hasn't been pretty, and it could have been simpler. They're making it harder on themselves.
Side note with this unfiltered at the ballpark experience again, when Schwarber was hitting that home run, I did pause the TV to see if I can catch you and the wife. I sent Brent a text. Is this you?
It was. He did. He sent me a picture, a screenshot. It was not, just for the record, but the ball was 10 feet to our right in our row. I'm not kidding. It landed right in our row, awesome. 10 feet to our right. So it was pretty close. And then a couple batters later, Kepler, overshot us by quite a bit with his. But it was it was good. So, but yeah, that was funny. I appreciated that.
No problem. So I left off a con. That I think we should just dedicate a whole little segment to. Johan Rojas. Sure, he's shown signs of fantastic defense. He made a great play at the game you were at the other night. But what's with him and the lapses of judgment lately? He's making so many mental errors because he's trying to make that exciting play. It's costing the team runs. It's costing them potentially games. At the end of the game on Thursday night, he was trying to leg out a triple, and there was absolutely no need for that. What are we doing? You're not going to be a hero. You're not going to tie the game in that moment. You're not. Don't swing for the fences. I
can tell you what he's
plays you're supposed to.
I can tell you what he's doing. He knows that he's a bubble guy right now. Guys are getting healthy, and Crawford is lurking down there. I don't think he's going to be up quite yet because of the MLB service stuff and all that. I was reading it. That's a big part of the factoring there. Marsh is back though. Yeah, Marsh is back though now. And to Marsh's credit, he did kick it off yesterday with a couple of hits. He looked good coming back. It was great to see. But going back to Rojas, yeah, he's trying to make a splash. He's trying to be, to your point, exciting, doing the exciting plays. But all I need you to do is make the plays that are in front of you. Just make the plays. If you make an exciting play now and then, that's great. But yeah, stop trying to stretch hits into triples that are clearly doubles. Stop trying to make crazy circus plays when all you got to do is just put the glove up, make the catch on the run, and get the ball back into the infield. I mean, he's not in the long-term plans of this team. It's just not in the cards, I don't think. I mean, with Crawford coming up, I just don't see where the role is for him. I don't think he brings enough to the table to keep him. Wilson, on the other hand, I think is showing that he might be that right-handed pop off the bench that we need. I mean, the man can hit the baseball. When he gets a hold of it, it goes far. And he's an adequate corner outfielder. So as long as he's hitting the ball decently well, he'll have a spot as a bench guy on this team, I think. But Rojas has no such luxury. I mean, it used to be, oh, well, he's great in the field. He's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. You can't say that anymore. He's made a lot of mental errors this year. I mean, a lot of them.
Like there's instances where he threw the ball home when there was absolutely no need to do that. Like you just hit the cut here. Like the play in Atlanta where he just lets it drop in front of him and Sosa, trying to make the diving play in Chicago, which is where Nola ends up letting a run, which shouldn't be on him, but it's on Rojas. It's like Casti could have caught that ball, but no, you tried to make the diving play to make the exciting play.
Yeah,
that's not smart baseball. You're supposed to be here to win games, not. I know you're trying to fight for a job potentially. I don't see him in the long term either. Like, hey, he could be a good trade piece for somebody looking for defense, for a bullpen arm maybe. But after that, like, learn to lay a bunt down and use your legs to get on base rather than trying to stretch it out. You can steal a bag, and you don't need to try to drill a home run. Sure, he did when he hit his home run recently, but he's
going to hit 5 or 6 home runs. He's going to hit 5 or 6 home runs a year at most. I mean, like that's just where he is. He's not going to be a double digit. He doesn't need to, but I'm saying everybody gets them eventually, and that he's going to have some that he gets a hold of. But that's like you get 5, 6, 7 a year, and that's where you're capping off. Stop worrying about hitting towering shots.
He's just a faster version of Ben Revere. Like
he had a cup of coffee with us and moved on.
I hope that wasn't your Guess That Phillie, but like that's somebody I would think of when I think of Rojas. Like, hey, he could play some defense, and sure he can run, but like you try to do so much. Like, come on, make better choices. Come on, Johan. we know you can. Anything else on Rojas you got there?
No, I think we hammered that point.
All right, so the news of the week was Ranger was coming back. Ranger made his first start today, which ended up pushing Taijuan Walker to the pen with Jose Ruiz going on the IL, and more excitingly, Andrew Painter going to AAA. Let's start with Rangers' start, which was today, since we're recording Sunday night. He looked really darn good for the first 2 innings and the first batter in the third inning, and then tailed off massively. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm. He lost the strike zone. I mean, that's what it was. He couldn't locate his pitches, and it came back to bite him. Because then once that happened, they were jumping on the first pitches that were coming into the zone. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 in a row that they hit the first or second pitch of the at-bat. And, I mean, that's where it unraveled for him in that, third inning, I guess it was.
Yeah, right. Like, postgame was mentioning that he just didn't look good from the stretch. Like, he just wasn't able to command from the stretch, and which was clear as day he wasn't able to. It's like he got tired, but he should have been well prepared for that. It's like moments like this, like, remind me, hey, he could be a bullpen piece instead. But for when Painter comes ready to go. But I was a little disappointed. Well, I guess we could say more than disappointed with Rangers outing today. I know it was his first start of the year, and he's better than what he showed today. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it does improve next time around. But somebody that has shown some promise this season is Taijuan Walker, and he deserves that spot in the pen. He deserves a spot on this team because he's been reliable. He's throwing strikes. He's getting guys out. He had one bad inning so far this year?
Really? Yeah. I mean, he has exceeded everyone's expectations. I'm sure even the Phillies, the organizational folks at the Phillies, did not expect the level of production that they've gotten out of him. And that play the other night that he ran off the mound and made that scoop play, he's an athlete. I mean, you got to give him that credit. He's always been a very good athlete. I'm very curious though how he'll translate to the pen, because it's a different mindset. You don't have time to settle in. You have to come in ready to go. You can't afford to give up a hit or two before you settle in. You got to come in and just start recording outs. So I'm curious to see how he'll do with that. But if he can somehow continue just doing what he's been doing, I think he could be a really valuable piece there. I mean, he could give you an inning plus in the pen, and that's something we've been missing outside of Joe Ross. We really haven't had guys that can go multiple innings from that pen.
Right. Something to think about too. Like if Ranger's still struggling like this, like he showed today, like maybe we use Ranger like an opener kind of thing. We goes through the lineup once, and then you throw Taijuan out there for rotation through the order, and then you get Joe Ross in there, and hopefully with a lead you can get Strom and Alvarado in there to finish it out. It's a possibility, but I'm excited for Taijuan. I'm happy for him. Like that he's been able to show us some promise. I'm gonna give him his flowers. He deserves them. I mean, he made one heck of a play the other night. Honestly, if he doesn't get hit with that line drive, I think the other day I think he finishes that game with a much stronger stat line than he had.
Well, and he has the incentive to do well, to continue to do well, because he's going to be a free agent, and if he wants a new contract, he's got to show that he can continue to get people out. And I don't know that he's on this team beyond this, because he'll want to start, understandably, and there's just not going to be a spot for him to start on this team moving forward. So this is an audition for next year, and there's a lot of incentive for him to continue to perform well.
So, unfortunately, for the Phils, it was a bad contract, but if he's putting in the effort, he's trying. I'll give him that.
He's kind of bookending it, honestly. He performed well at the front, and then he's seeming to perform well at the back end of it too. But in the middle, he was just god awful. I mean, there's just no getting around that. But I like what you said though about the idea about Ranger potentially going to the pen, depending on how quickly Painter gets to the point where he can pitch, a fair amount of innings as a starter at this level. That could be a way to add to your bullpen. Have Walker and Ranger Suarez put into your bullpen without having to go out and give up a bunch of prospects. Right there, that's two pieces you're adding to your pen of experienced arms who are comfortable on the team. I'm not sure about Taijuan, but we know Ranger has pitched in relief and done it effectively. That kind of excites me, that we could continue to improve our staff with guys we have on the team already, as things start to form here in terms of Painter getting up here and everything. And I think that'd be great. That'd be I still think we might need another arm at the deadline. I think it'll depend on how the other guys perform, but I have to think Carlos Hernandez is the odd man out when when Ruiz comes back. Yeah.
I have to agree. You said it yourself to me. Like, last one in, first one out.
It's partly that, but also the effectiveness. I mean, the guy can throw 100 miles per hour, but he walks guys. He gets rocked. Ruiz has shown from last year that he has good stuff. He has not pitched all that well this year, but he has at least earned the opportunity to, come back and work on his craft a little bit, whereas Hernandez has no such earning, like he was a waiver wire kind of pickup guy. There's a reason he was on the wire, and I've been unimpressed by him throughout. Throwing 100's great, but it doesn't do anything if you're walking guys and they're hitting you anyway. It's just not that impressive. So,
100 right down the chute.
He's got to
go. Going to do it. You got to You got to command it. But the exciting thing happening is Andrew Painter is getting closer and closer to a big league appearance. He is being sent to AAA after striking out 12 and walking 1 in low A.
Love it.
He looks phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what he does when he's down in AAA. I think he's going
I think it's by 4th of July.
Yeah.
I think I was saying to you, I think by 4th of July we will see him in a major league uniform.
If today was any indication, I think July 4th would be great to have him. Because if Ranger's not going to be able to go long into games, I need somebody that has the potential to go 5-6 solid. At least, we're going to keep Painter low. He's going to be on an innings limit, but
right. But even if he gets you 5. If he gives you 5 innings, yeah, you've still got Walker you can put in. You have Ranger.
You could throw him in.
You've got options where look, let's look at it this way. Last year, the 5 spot was a nightmare. They had no answer for that. They tried 1,000 different things. None of them worked beyond 1 or 2 starts. You had Tyler Phillips, who had a couple good outings, that one complete game, which was great. But nobody was able to sustain success in that spot down the stretch. This year, you have options. You can do it in the aggregate. You can do Painter starting the game, and if he gets you 3, 4, 5 innings, great. Then you can bring in Taijuan. Maybe he gives you an inning or 2. That gets you further into the game. I mean, you have options if these guys can stay healthy in a way you didn't last year, and I think they're going to win more games from that spot because of those options this year.
So this is exciting times. I'm ready to see. I wish there's a live feed somewhere where I can actually watch him pitch. I'm sure there'll be something on the Twitter sphere.
Well, it's AAA. I mean, you're going to get more stuff than you did at the single A level for sure.
And he's going to be seeing some major league bats, I'm sure, like
rehab guys. Yeah,
bats. So I'm curious to see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Any other notes on those guys?
Nope. No, I think that's it.
All right. So the last bit of anything that I want to talk about here is, do you have any concern about the lack of production from Bryce Harper? He hasn't been doing what he's done the last several years. He's been a slow starter, but this is it's getting later. We're in May now.
Yeah, I mean, he's had bursts. I mean, he hasn't been completely terrible. It's just he's not sustaining it. Like he's getting, he's getting hits, he's getting home runs sprinkled in. But no, I need him to be. I said at the beginning, he was my dud of the week. And he knows he's got to be better, and he will be. I mean, we're just into May now. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. I'm disappointed that he's not hitting the ball more consistently, but he'll be fine. I mean, he's a pro. Every year he has come through for this team. I mean, he really has, and I expect this year will be no different. So I'm not really worried about it. He's fielding his position pretty well. I think he had one pretty bad misplay this week, but other than that, I mean, he's been pretty good defensively, and
that hasn't changed, thankfully.
Yeah. No, I think I had also kind of doubling back a little bit. We were talking about disappointments and stuff. For me, Trey Turner's defense too is another thing that is really concerning me because sure he has some good plays now and then, surprisingly, but he makes a lot of errors out there. He boots a lot of balls. He makes a lot of errant throws. I can't have that from my shortstop. I can't have that. I need to have that be a sure position. That has to be your best defensive player, and he's just not. He's the least quality defensive player in that infield. Bohm is above him in terms of gloving the ball. I think their throwing is on par with one another, both pretty poor throwers, but Stott is by far the best defensive player in that infield. That's not even a competition.
I was about to say the best shortstop on the team plays second base.
Absolutely, 100%. But putting Stott or Turner at second doesn't fix the problem. It just moves it, right? I mean, it doesn't. Turner's going to be an outfielder in the next couple of years. I don't know how or what position, but it's going to be left or right depending on what happens with Casty, Kepler. I don't know how that all shakes out, but he's going to be a corner outfielder when all is said and done because he's just not good in the infield. I mean, we were spoiled with Jimmy Rollins for all those years. I mean, he was amazing. That fielding percentage was in the high 90s every single year.
Segura was pretty solid, and
he was.
And when we had Bryson there, he was really darn good.
Yep. No, we got Turner for his bat. I mean, it was all offense. That's what it was. And honestly, his speed is not what it was. He really has not recovered to the extent, like his speed has taken a dip. I mean, he's not slow by any means, but he is not the Trey Turner of the Nats and the Dodgers before we got him. He's not a base stealing threat in the same way that he used to be. Bryson Stott is by far the most dangerous base runner on our team right now. Stealing bases, doing what he does out of that leadoff spot. Love it. I know you do too. But
yes, I do.
Turner is just, he's hitting okay. He didn't have a great day today, but all in all, he's getting contact, but he is not power. He's not showing the power right now. I agree.
No, he's not. Turner was over 300 to start today.
Yeah.
1 for 6 was he today? Isn't going to do it, but
I can deal with the contact. I can deal with him just getting base hits if the guys behind him, especially Harper, Schwarber, Casti, are driving the home, and Kepler, if they're the ones driving the runs in, that's fine if Stott and Turner are getting first and third, setting that up. But
that's why I need Stott up top.
Exactly. Yeah, but anyway, the defense is killing me with Turner, and I need there to be better production there, because he's just I cringe every time the ball's hit to him. I don't trust him to make that throw across the diamond.
And then and then back to Harper with me. I think we've seen it recently. Like I mentioned, he's trying to play hero ball at the wrong times. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to get on base. We don't need to hit a 10-run homer this time. It's
right.
Like, and sometimes he's over aggressive in the field, but he's been playing a solid first base. But I need to see more out of Bryce. I know he does hit the ball hard. I need to see him. I just need to see him get some singles, even some doubles. I don't need like a lot of power from him. It's going to come.
Yeah.
I just want it sooner rather than later. That's just being selfish and greedy, but it'll come. It's got it. It usually always does.
It does. I'm not worried about it. It's just, disappointing right now.
Absolutely. But hey, 4-2 this week. They have hopefully a little bit easier of a matchup with the Rays. The Guardians.
It's the road though.
Yeah, it is the road.
And I gotta say, they are as Jekyll and Hyde as it comes with home and away right now. And
yes,
they've won, I forget how many series going back to last year at home. A regular season series, sorry.
It's a lot.
It is. They are a good home baseball team, but they've got to find a way, not necessarily to match that, because it's hard to get to that level, but they have got to at least find a way to go a little above 500 on the road. Like, you got to find a way to steal some series on the road.
Show me at least 500 on the road. Like, I'll be fine with 500 on the road if they're going to be like almost 700 at home.
Right, yeah.
So they have the Rays this week, and they have the Guardians. The Guardians are not going to be an easy one.
Never are. Nope.
But outside of, because their lineup's tough. They got some hitters, and Jose Ramirez is really darn good.
Is it Quan?
Quan, he's a really good contact hitter.
Yes, he is. Yep, dangerous at the top of that lineup.
They got a few young kids that are good
and
too.
Naylor too. His brother was but they were together for a little while on that team.
Yes.
And then we got his brother this week, and so back-to-back weeks with them. But they have they have some dangerous players. The Guardians.
So this should be a fun week of baseball. Hopefully we can come out of it again at least 4-2. I think that would be a successful week. I don't want to see 500. I want to see over 500 this week.
So my real quick take right now with where they are, they're doing what they need to do to stay kind of in the mix. They're not falling out of anything. They're playing decently, but there's another level that this team is capable of playing at, and eventually they're going to have to get there, and they hopefully they will, especially we get into June. That's really where they seem to hit their stride, this group. But they're not. There's another level that they're capable of playing at, and they're not quite hitting it yet.
And they showed that promise this week, especially against a tough team in Arizona. Like you mentioned, like Perdomo kills the Phils now. But outside of him, they did a good job like keeping them at bay. Outside of today, like they won on Saturday pretty handedly.
Yeah. That was a good game to watch.
So, they're showing their capabilities. It just needs to get consistent, and it will at some point. And they'll have this really hot stretch of like maybe 20 and 26. 20 out of 26. I mean,
yeah, that's what.
So,
they need it. They need it. Yes, they need a streak. I don't need them to win a consecutive string of games, but yes, a 20 out of 26, 25, whatever, or 23 out of 30, something. Where you're something where you put a good solid streak together, where you're winning. You win all the series in there, and you. It's also about how they look when they're winning, because they're winning series. They've won 3 in a row now, but they're still not playing baseball where I'm constantly like, they look good right now. Like, there are so many times where I'm like, guys, this is just, today they were booting the ball all over the field. They looked like they couldn't care less early in the game. And then it was like Weston Wilson ignited them with that 3-run shot. Right. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, we could still win this thing, So
sometimes they need the guy that lights the fire.
Yeah.
But that's it for all of that in the weekly recap for our Fightin' Phils. I guess that means it's that time to ask me, am I ready for Guess That Phillie?
I suppose we are going to find out. So,
all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so this guy was the 4th overall pick in the 1993 draft by the Phillies.
Okay.
And he made his debut in 1997. It was June of 1997, June 13th, 1997. He was a relief pitcher, right-handed relief pitcher. He played for the Phillies between 97 and 2002.
Okay.
And then I believe just another year or two after that, and it was kind of up and down. That was basically his major league career, was with the Phillies. All right. I recall him being quite popular when he was here. Like, fans seemed to really like him.
I think I might have an idea already.
Really? Do you want to take a guess? Do you want me to add any?
Would it be really exciting if I guessed it right away?
Go for it. I think I heard you start to say it. I think I know.
Is it Wayne Gomes?
Yes, it is. You suck.
Yes! I remember him being really popular. I did like Wayne Gomes.
I think that's what I shouldn't have said. I shouldn't have given you the popular thing.
You said I never remember him with another team, so I think that was
yeah, me neither. He played with Boston apparently after us, but not really consistently. But yeah, he only had 29 career saves. I thought he had more than that, but I remember him being our closer for a couple of those years. And yeah, he was.
Like Jose Mesa time back then?
What's that?
Wasn't like Jose Mesa the closer back then?
I think Mesa was a little after that. I think Mesa was like 2000, maybe immediately after that, actually, like the year or two, the year after that. But yeah, he had 29 saves. ERA was 4.60, so that wasn't great. But he was 30-23. It's not a bad win-loss record. 284 Ks, and apparently he is quite big. He went to Old Dominion, and he's very revered there. He has gone back and been given a lot of accolades and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I remember liking him and enjoying him. But very good. It's probably the quickest guess, that Philly. So, yes, sir, yes, you have your flowers this week. That was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I remember if you told, I would have guessed, hey, it was number 61, right? Like this is an easy one
that
me.
Was his number. I didn't give that yet, but yeah, that was his number. So.
That was my best one over my Brandon Duckworth guess. This one, but again, it's no Matt Beach.
That one. I think that was. I was like, I'm gonna go with someone that's pretty known, but not like hasn't been that immediate. But no. So now I've got to up my game again. I've got to go a little bit deeper.
All right.
Made it too easy on you.
I think I have mine for next week already. I think it might be an easier one, so we shall see.
Okay. And I saw Ashley's comment on the page. Did she actually stump me? Again, partially. I just mixed up my Durbins. That's all it was. It was partially wrong. I said Durbin. I just didn't say the right Durbin, but I also described his face very accurately, so I did know who it was.
You're not getting 66% on this one. You only got half credit.
No, I agree. Half was fair. I got half of his name. I should get half the credit. So, that's fair. But
so for everybody listening out there, there's no ties here. So if it stays the way it's going, there's not going to be any ties between us. I just can't. I'm not going to get any half ones. I'm going to go all out here.
Okay. So, well, we'll see. You never know. You never know what could happen that could warrant a half credit point. We'll see. But it's a long year.
I'll remember Juan Pierre's name. But throwing out
I'm not going to go with that.
Just another random guy.
I always laughed at that name, by the way. A Spanish first name and a French last name. Loved it.
Like he was a heck of a ball player when he was.
He was with the Marlins, man. Him and Luis Castillo. Whew.
Yeah, that was a good combo. A lot of speed. Wrap us up.
All right, let's do it. So everybody be sure to give us a listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast. And follow us on social media at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast on Facebook, on Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, and on Twitter/X at Funfiltered, PHUNPHILTERED. Thank you all for joining us for this episode, and a little bit better this week. A little bit better. Hopefully they can take this show on the road and continue to win some series here.
This was a fun conversation tonight, and I look forward to more Phillies baseball. Let's hope we're all smiles next time we do this.
Indeed.
All right. And as always,
go Phils. Take care, everybody.
Bye.